That's true. Vivian nodded non-committally. She knew Dustin's martial arts skills were impressive. He also possessed some knowledge in the field of medicine. But these two expertise alone were not enough. Sheila was Christopher's beloved granddaughter. So, there were 3 criteria her future husband must meet. First, he must come from an influential family. Secondly, he has to be full of potential. And lastly, he must have exceptional skills. Dustin was just an ordinary person. So, he did not meet those criteria. The Murray residence was huge. Within a 10-mile radius, there were mountains and rivers. Everything in that area was theirs. The group walked for over 10 minutes. Finally, they arrived at the private horse ranch. It was located at the foot of the hill. There were over 100 horses on the horse ranch. Moreover, most of the horses were of high-quality breeds. Anyone from the Murray family could train or race horses there. Some talented youngsters of the family would also have the privilege of being paired with valuable horses. Sheila was familiar with the surroundings. She called over the stable manager and led everyone into the stable. They were getting ready to choose which horse they would ride. The stable was large and had numerous stalls with horses. Since the workers cleaned the stable regularly, it was spotless. They could even smell a hint of grassy and woody aroma. "Dustin, what do you think of this horse?" Sheila asked as she led him to a white horse. The white horse was around 5 feet tall. It had a well-rounded and graceful body with a slender neck and limbs. It also had a shiny coat. The horse moved with a light, elegant gait. It looked majestic. "Not bad. It's truly a fine horse," Dustin nodded with admiration. "Hee. This is Gale, and he's my ride. Whenever I'm free, I'll come by to visit him." As Sheila spoke, she reached out to stroke the horse's face. "Dustin, don't underestimate Gale. He's a prized horse. Every time my family hosts horse races, Gale never loses. He's always the champion." Sheila's eyes lit up. As soon as Sheila said that, a voice came from the stable entrance. "Never loses? Well, today, I'll be the winner." "What?" The group turned to look in the direction of the voice. They saw a group of young men and women. The group strolled into the stable leisurely. A woman led the group. She wore a black vest and black riding boots. She was beautiful and had a slender figure. But she looked arrogant, giving off a high and mighty vibe. As they entered the stable, she held a black horse by the reins. It had a shiny coat and was magnificent. "Roxanne." Sheila frowned at the sight of the woman. Roxanne Murray was her cousin, and she always liked to challenge Sheila. Roxanne had become more daring after Caden stepped down as head of the family. Roxanne would look for trouble every day, annoying Sheila very much. "Sheila, I can't stop laughing when I heard you brag about Gale. He never loses." Roxanne mocked. She did not hold back and continued to poke fun at Sheila. "Come on, you only won in previous years because everyone lets you. Did you think you're that good? Don't be ridiculous." Upon hearing her words, Sheila's expression darkened. It was obvious that she was annoyed. "You're spouting nonsense," Sheila snapped. "If you don't believe it, let's race then. We'll see if Gale or Midnight Shadow is better," Roxanne taunted. Back then, everyone favored Sheila. After all, her father was the head of the Murray family. So, everyone treated Sheila with respect. But things were different now. Roxanne's father was the new head of the family. So she could do whatever she wanted. Sheila lifted her head and answered confidently, "Bring it on. Do you think I'm scared of you?" She had been practicing horseback riding since she was young. With Gale by her side, Sheila was not afraid of a challenge. "Great." Roxanne's eyes lit up at that. "But simply winning a race isn't satisfying. Let's have a little bet." "What are we betting on?" Sheila countered. Roxanne grinned slyly. "It's simple. Let's bet our prized horses. Whoever loses has to give up their horse." "Our horses?" Sheila was hesitant upon hearing that. If they were betting money or valuables, she would agree in a heartbeat. But Gale was her beloved horse. Sheila needed to think about it. After all, she had spent 6 years with Gale. He was already a friend to her. So, of course, She was reluctant to part with Gale. What's wrong? Are you scared? Roxanne provoked. If you're afraid, then stop bragging. Otherwise, you're just embarrassing yourself. You dash. Sheila was furious. She gritted her teeth. Fine. Let's do it. I refuse to believe that I'll lose to you. It's a deal. I hope you won't regret it. Roxanne sneered. What's all the commotion about? Right then, 3 more people walked into the stable. It was a man with 2 women. The man had a distinguished appearance. He was tall and had a commanding aura. He also resembled Roxanne. The 2 women with him had stunning looks and a beautiful figure. What? Dustin raised his brows in surprise when he saw the trio. That was because the 2 women were none other than Dahlia and Elena. As Dustin's gaze swept over them, Dahlia's eyes happened to meet his. They made direct eye contact, but neither of them spoke. Dahlia frowned as she looked at him weirdly. She did not expect to bump into this insurance agent again. Elena stood next to her but did not notice Dustin's presence. Her gaze was fixed on the white horse, Gale. She looked interested in it. As a horse enthusiast, Elena was captivated by such a valuable and majestic horse. Jaden, you're here. At the sight of Jaden, Roxanne smiled. Sheila and I just made a bet on a horse race. We betted our respective prized horses. What do you think? Oh, a horse race? Jaden's eyes shone with delight. Since you're both so excited about it, I'll be the judge. Sure. Roxanne agreed without hesitation. Jaden turned to look at Sheila and asked, What do you think, Sheila? You've always been fair, Jaden. So it's not a problem. Sheila nodded. Great. You both get ready then, Jaden smiled. Remember, friendship comes first. The competition is secondary. Let's not ruin our relationship, okay? The 2 women glared at each other. They did not take Jaden's words seriously. Sheila and Roxanne saddled up their horses. After putting on the gears, they led their horses to the racetrack. One horse was black, while the other was white. Both were the complete opposite. Sheila's and Roxanne's friends stood on either side, facing each other. All the best, Sheila. I know you can win this. Vivian cheered from the sidelines. Evan was confident, too. Gale is a seasoned champion. He can't be compared to any other horses. You're right. As long as he performs as usual, he can win this, the others said. Dustin remained silent the whole time. He was actually quietly judging the horses. He could see that Gale was indeed superior to Midnight Shadow. But of course, the rider's skill needed to be considered, too. Sheila had years of experience. As long as she made no mistakes, her chances of winning were high. On the other side, Elena asked excitedly, Dahlia, which of these 2 horses do you think will run faster? I don't know much about horses, so I can't tell, Dahlia answered, shaking her head. She had gone to the horse ranch for 2 reasons. One was for fun, and the other was to talk business with Jaden. Watching the horse race was purely for entertainment. It's okay if you can't tell. Just make a guess, Elena replied with a smile. I'm guessing the black horse, then, Dahlia said casually. In an instant, Elena felt competitive. Okay. I guess the white horse will win. Both horses were great. But Elena preferred Gale simply because he was more beautiful. Then, both Sheila and Roxanne had gotten on their horses. They rode to the starting point and were ready for the race to start. Jaden approached Roxanne and smoothed Midnight Shadow's manner. Roxanne, Midnight Shadow is an aggressive horse. Be careful when you ride. Got it. Roxanne responded. The same goes for you, Sheila. Be careful. Remember, friendship comes first, and competition is secondary. Jaden turned to Sheila and patted Gale. Although it was a simple action, Dustin frowned at seeing that. Sheila nodded. Thank you for your concern, Jaden.